Hello there, collective. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to deliver a quick message to you. This message is coming from a pattern that I've seen when doing readings for the individual zodiac signs. Oftentimes, during those individual readings, patterns emerge, and it becomes very clear to me that there is something going on at the collective level. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Collective temptation. Temptation promises the world, but delivers chains. And in those moments, it's not just your desires at stake, it's also your destiny. And so, what I've been seeing as a pattern in the collective readings is a lot of temptation that is coming your way to exploit your desperation. Right now, as a collective, many things are happening. The economy isn't as at its best. A lot of people are out of work, prices are going up. So financially, there are those who are really feeling afraid about their livelihood and their ability to sustain themselves and their families. There are also physical temptations at this time. For those of you who aren't struggling with your finances, perhaps some of you are fortunate enough to not be experiencing those types of difficulties. And so then the temptation is coming in other ways. Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe you're in a relationship that right now it's experiencing some trouble and some issues. Perhaps, you feel as if though you're misunderstood. There are so many ways in which, as a collective, we can be exploited at this time. Okay, so for some of you, it could be through vices, addictions, physical ones, although most of them are. But temptation at all levels are presenting themselves to the collective right now. And it's important to understand why those temptations are coming your way, because this is a spiritual war that we're fighting. And so they're coming to the collective. They're presenting themselves as everyday mundane things. And if you're not discerning, if you're not aware, if you're not tapped in, you will miss that it's really lower vibrational energies that have been unleashed, that have been released into the collective. Not that they ever go away, but it is high tide right now. And so these lower vibrational energies are getting to you. They're trying to reach you. And so, as you know, for some years now, we have been transitioning into the age of Aquarius. And a lot of times when there is a shift from one age to another, there is this undercurrent of energetic uprising on the earth. Some of you may be familiar with the story in the Bible about the bull, the statue of the bull that was in the town square, and it was overturned by the townsmen, and there was uprising, anarchy, and chaos. That story was very symbolic of what happens when one age ends and another one begins. There becomes this energetic vibrational shift on earth. And as creatures of the earth, that shift also impacts the collective. It impacts humanity. And so humanity starts to see the world differently, starts to make different demands and place different demands upon the powers that be, the powers that are in control of the condition of humanity. And so then what happens is those powers that be come to the realization that they're starting to lose their grip. They're starting to lose their grip. And so, very much so, behind the scenes and in the shadows, they put their agenda into play. That can manifest as witchcraft being done on the collective. That can manifest as spell work. And so, right now, for the collective, with so much going on, a lot of you have goals. A lot of you have visions for how you want to see your life right now. And a lot of you are frustrated because you feel like things aren't happening fast enough or at all. You feel as if though you've been forgotten, abandoned, or left out of the plan for success. Some of you may look around you and say, well, so-and-so is successful, and how come I can't be successful? And so what I'm getting, the divine wants you to know, is that right now, things are not what they seem. What feels and looks like abandonment and your prayers going unanswered and unheard is actually the divine protecting you from irresistible temptations. There are some of you whom, if you got what you wanted today, you would be falling into a trap. If you got the job that you wanted, you would become a slave to that corporation. If you got the relationship that you wanted, that person would wreak havoc on your life. If you got the contract that you wanted, you would be forced to show up as a caricature that was so misaligned with you that you would be miserable because you would literally be out of character. Those that are getting what they want at this time, it is not to say that they will fall into destructive ways or destruction at all. But right now, some of you are being protected from just that. You may look at them and say, so-and-so got it, so-and-so got it. So-and-so may have gotten it at a price that they themselves may not be aware of at this time. So delays, detours, roadblocks at this time are being employed by the divine as a way to protect you. Because with this shift, with this transition from one age to another, those who recognize that they are at risk of losing power, of the paradigm shifting from one, let's say, spiritual regime to the next, they don't want to let go of that power. They don't want to release it. So let's talk a little bit about the Piscean age. In the Piscean age, temptation served the purpose of turning people into sinners. And then sinners became repenters, and then repenters became those who down on their knees prayed for forgiveness and turned to those who were seemingly holy enough to bring that down upon them. And they offered themselves, they offered their tithes, they offered their devotion, their submission, their subservientness in return for salvation. That is what temptation did in the age of Pisces. And so those who are trying to hold on to that old paradigm, trying to hold on to the power that they were able to harvest from humanity during that time, are laying it on thick. You are being tempted to take shortcuts. You are being tempted to lose your patience. You are being tempted to give up on yourself and on the divine. You are being tempted to turn away from the divine because you feel like the divine is not showing up for you. All the while, the divine is right beside you the whole time. Things are not what they seem at this time, collective. So it's very important for you to practice a high level of discernment. It's very important for you to strengthen your spiritual muscles, your intuition, respect it now more than ever, and work on that direct connection between you and the divine, so it is not brokered through others who may falter because they aren't able to pick up on the confusion, the intentional confusion that has been unleashed at this time. It is more important than ever for you to go directly to the source. Those temptations can easily become distractions if you give in to them. Temptation isn't loud, it's subtle. It sneaks in, offering you a shortcut to everything you've ever wanted, but at the cost of who you are. Okay, so for those of you that are experiencing situations in your lives right now where you're tempted to give in as a form of escapism, as a form to alleviate your concerns or your anxiety, or you've just lost your patience, you feel like you're owed this at this time, you're being distracted from the realization that some of the things that you want, if you got them at this time, it would compromise your integrity, your morals, your values. Some of you would lose your families. You know, for those of you who are married, protect your homes, protect your families. Do not let anybody come in between your relationships. That could have long-lasting consequences for you. Temptation doesn't come to destroy your weakness. It comes to test your strength. Will you rise above it or let it rule over you? Again, the purpose of temptation is to turn you into a sinner, and a sinner becomes a beggar for forgiveness. A sinner becomes someone who is ashamed of themselves, who cannot look at themselves in the mirror, and goes to the others for pardon and forgiveness. But every temptation is a choice. In that moment, you decide not only your actions, but who you will become. So you're being asked right now, what will you choose? Will you choose to believe the lies? Will you choose to believe the projections that are being placed upon you right now to take you off your path, to weaken your resolve, to weaken your relationship with yourself, and more importantly, with the divine? I say often that coming between you and the divine is very much coming between you and yourself, because you are the divine as a physical manifestation. Collective, let these messages be heard at this time, because a lot of you are feeling frustrated, you're ready to give up, you're falling into despair. Do not let those lower vibrational dark forces win. They're coming, like I said, from the shadows. It's very subtle. Smoke screens and mirrors and screensavers, all of the illusions that you can think of are happening at this time. You know, the age of Aquarius is the humanitarian age. So now more than ever, humanity is looking out for each other, has each other's backs. The voices are getting louder. against injustices and inequalities. And so causing division among humanity is definitely a way to keep the collective stuck in the past, in the Piscean age, when it's supposed to be shifting into the humanitarian age. Okay, and so division amongst the masses and internal division, as I said, between yourself and the divine. Anything that causes division right now is a tactic. It's a way to divide and conquer. So be aware of your surroundings. Really take inventory of the circumstances in your life at this time. If this resonates with you, if you say to yourself, yeah, you know what? I was just ready to give up. I was just ready to quit. I was just ready to give in, to settle. Settling is strongly advised against at this time, because anything you settle for at this time will lead to unhappiness and being unfulfilled. You will be rocked to sleep. When you are unsatisfied and you are unfulfilled, you look for pleasures. You look for ways to escape those feelings. Okay, you submit to codependencies, you submit to addictions, all because you're so unfulfilled with your life and your lifestyle and your relationships. And so don't allow yourself to be put to sleep at this time. It may sting to be aware, or as they say, woke. Okay? It may sting. It will be sobering. But the alternative will lead to far more misery. And it will keep you stuck in a cycle that you are determined to break out of. You know that you're ready to break out of this cycle. You know that. So, falling into temptation, being rocked to sleep, will keep you in that cycle. A cycle that you're meant to come out of. Your spirit tribe has already communicated that to you. The divine has already communicated that to you. You know, what I love about doing readings for the individual zodiac signs is that I can connect those dots, and as those patterns emerge, I am now then drawn and pulled towards delivering those messages on a collective level. Please understand that you're not alone. It's not just you. It's not personal. This is happening on a collective level. So some of you, again, things aren't always what they seem. You think it's just you. You think you have bad luck. You think you don't get what you want. You think everyone else does. Yeah, some people are getting what they want, baby, but it comes at a cost and a price. So be patient. This is spiritual warfare. Nothing new under the sun, right? It's a bit frustrating. We're over it. Why must things go on this way? But right now, there's a collective of spiritual soldiers roaming the earth that are here to anchor in this new vibration. It is very likely that if you've made it to the end of this video, that you are one of those people. You volunteered. You were tasked. And now you're being asked to hold the line. Thanks so much for your time. These are downloads that I have received today. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And whatever you do, hold yourself and your families close and tight. Love yourselves and each other. And continue to talk to the divine. Talk to you soon, collective.